What's up, G-Show land, and welcome to another episode of the G-Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. It's a very special Godzilla Block Party because it's our 50th Godzilla Block Party. Not only that, though, it is also Godzilla's 64th birthday today. So we're not going to get into no news and nothing like that because there really ain't nothing much out there happening right now. What we're going to do, us, the G-Show, what we're going to do is we're going to just basically... give Godzilla a love letter, talk about our favorite Godzilla movies, our favorite Godzilla moments, and so sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and before we get down to it, let me introduce you to my panel, my crew, my buddies, the G-Show themselves. My right hand, G95, what's up, my brother?
Hey, good to be back.
It is good to have you back, and once again, as always, on the G-Show of Godzilla Block Party, we got my left hand G73 Chase, my brother. What's up, man?
Oh my gosh, guys. It's been another long minute. But other than that, I'm just waking up and getting ready for all this. Happy birthday, Godzilla.
Happy birthday, Big G, indeed. Yeah, the last time we all got together was for the trailer that dropped in July. I've seen something that maybe a new trailer's coming soon. The only thing I can think of is Aquaman because of the Warner Brother connection. So I believe I would have loved the trailer today, being it's the Big G's birthday. That would have been pretty cool. But we don't get what we want, and that probably would have dropped yesterday because of Japan. Anyhow, so I'm thinking Aquaman. So early December, we should see a new trailer. What do you think on that, there, Chase?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been kind of like. A lot of stuff that's been said has been pointing to either Aquaman or Fantastic Beasts, but I think it's going to be Aquaman, if anything. If not, then we won't get a trailer, at least probably till maybe January, something like that. That's what I think.
What about you, Matt? You think Aquaman's a good jump off for a new trailer?
Yeah, I think it's a good point because a lot of people are going to be there, and it's I feel like superheroes and kaiju kind of almost go hand in hand in a weird way. So, yeah, I think that'd be a good move.
I agree. All right, so we're all in agreement. Aquaman, let's hope. Fingers crossed. Let's get into it. Godzilla turned 64 today. He has a gigantic resume, no pun intended, to his name. I mean, this monster has now become multicultural. He's worldwide. Worldwide. You can't even deny it. You got the legendary movies, doing justice to him as far as an American-made Godzilla movie. Japan, TOHO's constantly, they were constantly churning them out. They take a break every now and then. The most recent thing we getting from TOHO is the animation. But that's about to be wrapped up this month. So, yeah, I just want to ask you guys. I'm going to start with you, Chase. Chase, what is your favorite Godzilla movie?
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about this question when you brought it to us, probably like since you mentioned we were going to do a podcast. And I mean, and I always go back and forth, because, and I think I finally have come to the realization of what I'm trying to say to myself is that Godzilla versus Biollante is my favorite Godzilla movie. However, my favorite Godzilla design is from the 1991 design from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. But I basically consider those suits, and I think a lot of us do, consider those suits practically the same. Just one's bigger and bulkier. But so Godzilla vs. Biollante, that's my favorite movie. That was the one that when I was a little kid, little Chase, running around the house watching Godzilla movies. Anywhere we went, to my grandmother's house, no matter what, the one movie I talked about, the one movie I did the most, playing with my Godzilla toys. That is the movie I reenacted scenes with. That is the movie I watched nonstop. I burned the whole copy. That's the one movie I held on to as a kid. That's the one movie that I remember the most as a kid, watching a lot, like getting into the swimming pool and the part when Godzilla walks into the lake and he's kicking the water and shit. I would reenact that scene in the swimming pool and sometimes in the bathtub and shit. That was the movie as a little kid that I watched the most, and I had this. I had the Trendmasters 1989 Godzilla figure that they had, and it was a rare edition. It was all black instead of green with the silver plates. I had that, and I lost it, and I was very devastated. And yeah, that is my favorite movie. And I mean, if you want to go into reasons why, I could totally tell you. But just to answer it quick, that is my favorite movie.
We'll probably get into reasons in a bit. So that's your favorite movie, Matt. We've had many conversations, some heated, some on the same page. But what is your favorite Godzilla movie?
It's hard to say because, it's not really hard to say, but The Final Wars is my favorite. It's not the best on any technical level, but it just captured so much of what I feel the spirit of Godzilla is, and it just really caught my eye as a kid. It was just all action. It was cool music. It was great effects. It was just this big celebration of Godzilla, and it's just always stuck with me. It's the one that I show people who have never seen a Godzilla movie before. That's what they start with, at least in my book. And yeah, it just captures something for me. Normally I do like the darker Godzilla movies, but that one just like has it all.
It's the love letter.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. You know where I stand with that one. I love that one too. It's not my favorite of all time, but it's up there. It's definitely up there. Maybe top 5. I got to think about that.
I actually watched it last night.
I'm thinking of giving it a watch before this weekend's over. But my favorite, and I came to the realization of this the other day.
Shin Godzilla.
Absolutely. No. No. Return to Godzilla. Godzilla 84, 85, whatever you want to call it. Godzilla. I watched it the other day again, and it absolutely does. It ticks all the boxes for me. All the boxes. Now, you could never take away the greatness that is Akira Ifukube. You know what I'm talking about. The music, the score, the march, all of the classic Godzilla themes. But Godzilla 84 introduced like this new. The music was so different and just so perfect for that film. I love it. It sets some mood early. It doesn't let up. I love the way Godzilla looks, even though he's got that derpy eye thing going. I still love it. And man, yeah, I was watching it and I just it ticked every single box. And I said to myself, I can enjoy this movie to the end of time. So Godzilla 85
is almost John Carpenter-esque.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. Because I had just watched The Fog the night before. And then I was watching 85 the next morning. Like, I woke up, I threw that in. And it feels that way. You're absolutely right. It feels that way. I love it. I absolutely love that movie. That's my favorite. But, yes, I mean, like, you would think everybody would jump and say, easy, that the original Godzilla 54 is the best of all of them. And it's hard to argue that point, but I look at it like this. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back is probably the greatest Star Wars movie made to date, right? But the best one, in my opinion, is Return of the Jedi. And that's how I feel with Godzilla and Godzilla 84, Return of Godzilla. Yes, that is probably the best one. It's the first one. It's just a dark, sad movie. But 84 is my favorite, hands down. Plus, there's a Ghostbuster cameo in that movie. Come on. You can't go wrong. If there's cameos in the movie, you can't go wrong. I mean, like, look at Final Wars. There's cameos by everybody in that movie.
Sure.
But, so let me ask you, Matt, speaking of Final Wars, what are some of the things that like, besides the over the top, but what are some of the things that caught you, like, off the bat? Because I remember the first time I watched Final Wars, it was a bootleg copy, no subtitles, from a forum that, everybody was salivating for this movie. We were like following it so hardcore. The silhouettes that they were releasing every night, like, oh, who could this creature be? Oh, who could this creature be? And then like, who's left? Oh, it's got to be Gorosaurus. And then bam, no, it's Zilla. Oh shit, they're bringing in this. It's great. Like, we were hardcore salivating for this movie, and I'll never forget the first time I seen it. It was like about 11 o'clock at night. And it dropped, and it went all over the forum, and I was like hitting everybody up. How do I download this? How do I watch this? What do I do? Because I'm computer illiterate. And they were like, do it like this. This is what you do. Boom, boom, boom. Sat there, watched it. Couldn't believe what I saw. Watched it again. 3 o'clock in the morning, texting my friends, don't go to work tomorrow. Come to my house. We're going to watch Final Wars. It was nuts. So what was going through your head? Like, what were some of those things for you that made you love this movie?
I can't remember distinctly what was the very first time I watched it, but I remember just being, from the get-go, just like enamored with it, almost. Just the color palette they used, the music, just the big montage in the beginning, the monsters, all the monsters I wasn't expecting. Zilla just made me lose my shit. How it took place all over the world. How it had that kind of X-Men sort of action movie feel. Just all that, like, really stuck with me. I could tell it was a throwback even when I was 9 years old. You know, it felt like it was an homage and, like, honoring Godzilla. Even before I really understood those terms and understood how much of a cultural phenomenon Godzilla really was. So it was... It just stuck with me somehow. I watched it... I've probably seen that more than I've seen any other Godzilla movie by a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't quite put it into words how it stuck with me, or my first initial reactions, but it was mostly just the excitement of a 9-year-old kid who was seeing all monster fights and no plot. And I think that's what we all wanted out of Godzilla movies when we were younger. And that's what we got.
That's exact. You nailed that. That's pitch perfect right there. I remember growing up watching Godzilla movies straight for the monster fights. I didn't care what was going on with the, I had no clue what was going on. And, okay, there's a princess that was kidnapped by space aliens, and now she's possessed. And look at this, kid! It's King Ghidorah! Yeah, here we go. Rodan and Mothra. Here we go. I agree with that 100%. Take out the filler and just give us senseless battles. Yeah, I agree. I'm so for that. I know, and that movie. We all know how much flack that movie gets, considering it was the 50th anniversary movie. It's not what nobody expected, and that movie gets a lot of hate. I mean, that movie might get the most hate out of any Godzilla movie. Is that a fair statement?
No, I don't think that is.
All right, so what do you think? What do you think is the worst hate in a Godzilla besides '98?
Probably Godzilla's Revenge. I mean, I think we just all know that the movie fucking sucks.
I hate that movie. I fucking hate that movie.
Yeah,
so much.
It's not good. The Japanese version is marginally better than the American version. But it's still just essentially the clip show from all the fights you didn't care about watching. Like, there's none of the ones in there.
Chase, do you agree with that? Do you think Godzilla's Revenge is the most hated?
See, until he said Godzilla's Revenge, I was thinking maybe G14, but then I was thinking if we're thinking Toho, I'm gonna honestly say maybe Shin Godzilla gets the boost, unneeded in that sense. Like, it's just at this point, it's just kind of, I don't know, fatigue hate, I feel like. But I definitely would say probably Revenge of Godzilla gets the most hate out of any movie. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to do a go-to movie, like yeah, I'd say Godzilla's Revenge is the movie I skip. I mean, I'll still watch. Like, I watched Shin Godzilla a week ago. At least I can do that. But Godzilla's Revenge, I'd probably just skip.
Yeah, nah. Last time I watched Shin Godzilla, I watched the American version, and there was only like 3 voice actors in the entire movie. I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell? But anyway, I'm not here to bash Shin Godzilla. I don't like that movie either. But I don't know if it's at the level of hate that I cannot stand Godzilla's Revenge. But it's kind of crazy because there's a lot of people who actually like that movie and come to its defense. The message, the bullying message and all that stuff. I get it, but still, I think, Matt, you nailed it when you said, like, the clip show of Godzilla's battles that we really didn't give a shit about. Like, I don't care about watching him fight the sea monster again. Although, I did like Gabara. I gotta be honest, I did like Gabara. So, if I'm gonna factor that in, I hate Shin Godzilla more.
To me, Godzilla's Revenge feels like an advertisement. It's like basically a Geico commercial, but Godzilla, Mila's the Geico gecko, and he's basically trying to sell the kid Godzilla insurance. If you think about it, that's how I look at it.
Oh, that's so funny. So, all right, Chase, we got Matt's reasons why he liked Final War so much. What are some of the reasons that stuck with you for Biollante? Like, why is that your favorite?
I mean, aside from the obvious of watching it so much as a little kid, and now as the movie I gravitated towards, as an adult, the reasons why, there's just some really phenomenal images in that movie. Like Godzilla. I love the beginning of that movie. Actually, when they do the scenes from 84 and stuff, and then Godzilla coming out of the volcano, and then the nighttime stroll through Tokyo when he's destroying Tokyo. I don't think. Never mind. It's not Tokyo. Is it? Or is it?
No, I think it's Kyoto. I think it's Kyoto, but
Osaka.
Osaka, yes.
Yeah, it's Osaka. When he's going through nighttime, and and then they shoot him, and then when they shoot him with the bazookas and stuff, fill him up with the bacteria and all of that. That movie just had tons and tons of really cool scenes, and one of the things about it too that I really liked was basically the message of, like, no matter how hard they were trying to kill Godzilla with the bacteria and they thought it was going to finally work, and then, their only solution was, raise his temperature, and then when he gets into the water, it basically makes the bacteria, it lowers his temperature and it doesn't kill him like they thought it was going to be. I like that message of kind of, no matter how hard you try, Godzilla's a hard son of a SOB to kill, and no matter how hard you try, I mean, it's going to be very difficult. And I struck with that a lot, and I just really appreciated that movie. I mean, I just thought it was entertaining, and one of my favorite scenes is like when Mickey and I guess her friend that work at the ESP center, and she was telling, like, all the kids had dreams the other night, and it was all the same thing. And when they walk into the room, and they all have pictures of Godzilla, when they showed them, like, that's what they drew, what they dreamt about was Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was creepy, and that still sticks with me. I was like, that's one of the coolest things. I just love that movie. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I mean, and yeah, that's probably why it's one of my favorites. But yeah, I loved it because it had a lot of great stuff in it.
I like what you said. There's a lot of great scenery in that. Like the one shot that sticks out to me from that movie, besides Godzilla coming out of the volcano, because I absolutely love that. But it's when Mickey's standing on the barge by herself, and she's like calling Godzilla, and he turns and starts coming towards her, and then it's that long shot, Godzilla standing in front of her, the barge, and then tiny little Mickey there. I absolutely love that shot. I do. I'm like, man. And that the scene you're talking about when they asked the kids what did they dream of last night, and they all raise their hands and have the pictures of Godzilla, and the music hits at the right time. It's so good. That scene is impactful right there. It's like yes, yes, yes. And I'll be honest, I'm a little jealous because some of those kids are very talented. Very, very talented.
There were some great drawings there.
I'm saying, man, some of those kids could draw better at the age of 5 than I can at the age of pushing 40. Just saying. Holy shit. But if I had one negative thing to say about Biollante, is I really did not like the Super X2. When I first saw it, I thought it was cool because I was like, oh, another Super X, dope. But then it was just like a giant reflector. That was it. It didn't have the arsenal the first one had. It was just that. And once that was gone, they didn't even have cadmium missiles. They just had rockets. Come on, man.
But see, I did like the part when he's like, Godzilla melted a mirror of synthetic diamond. He says it in like a heavy British accent.
So I know, and I will say this. I honestly believe one of the things I love about Biollante, to me, it is the last of the good dubbing. Biollante is the last movie that I actually can watch dubbed with English language. I prefer to watch all my Godzilla movies now subtitled. That's just a preference. But as far as the good ones, I love pretty much all the Showa. Nothing in Showa just bothered me at all. Godzilla 85. It's what I grew up with until I got the Japanese version. And Biollante, when I first saw that movie, I was like, what the fuck? There's a new Godzilla. What? And then, like you said, they start with Godzilla 85, the footage, and I'm like, oh, and then the aftermath, them picking up Godzilla cells, that is genius. I'm like, oh my God. But the dubbing was okay. Anything after that? Nah, I stay away from. The only other Godzilla movie I'll watch in English after Godzilla vs. Biollante is G14. That's all I'm saying. I can't watch any other. But sorry, let me. Well, I'll give you my reasons why I love Godzilla 84, 85 so much. There's a bunch of reasons. I touched upon some of them. I love Godzilla's look, the design, the silhouette is perfect. Godzilla coming back at his 30th anniversary. I thought it was just proper. Everything, man. He says so much, but when it boils down for me, and it's always been this, the reason why I love Godzilla is the destruction, the carnage in that movie. Godzilla delivers. I haven't seen a movie since '84. We can probably make an argument for Shin Godzilla, and all bias aside to that. When Godzilla unleashes in Shin Godzilla, it's pretty grand. But to me, that was an animal instinct. That was just like a reaction instead of a thought out process. I'm telling you, I'm watching this movie. Godzilla is thinking in this movie. There's some thought process going on. When he finally gets the Super X down, he knocks a building on top of it. To me, that was the equivalent of Godzilla swatting a fly. And it was glorious. I loved it. But even before that, I talked about the Super X2 not having the offensive weaponry that Super X1 had. Man, are you kidding me? We have not seen since. Well, maybe Final Wars. With the Gotengo and all the ships. But that exists in a bubble all its own. But we haven't seen since the type of military force that the Super X brought to Godzilla in any movie since. I mean, that thing shooting lasers, man. It lit Godzilla up. There's a hole in the creature's head. And yes, that could have been a mistake, but it's a glorious mistake. It's a mistake that actually works in the context of everything we know about Godzilla going forward. Regeneration abilities and all that stuff. Things that make Godzilla cooler than we already believed him to be. Oh, man, regeneration. That's why that giant hole in his head disappeared. That's genius. I eat that up. The destruction was great. The battle on the dock, first off, when Godzilla first comes to Tokyo Bay, and they're lighting him up, and he just is like, you know what? Screw this. boom, and then hits them with the atomic breath. Oh, it's so good.
That was the scene I was going to mention that sticks with me the most, because I love it when he uses his breath, and the soldiers get burst. They turn into skeletons after they burn.
They burst into flames. The guy, and I'll tell you what really works for me in that particular scene too, is there's dead silence after that. There's no music. There's no sound. It's just dead silence, and it's just it is so eerie. It is so eerie, and I absolutely love it. That scene sticks with me since I was a kid. And the first time I seen it, I was like, "Oh my god!" I think I peed my pants when I first seen it. I'll be honest. I'm scared. And then I was watching the Blu-ray. Right, I got everything hooked up. You got everything I need to have a wonderful home theater system, and I was noticing things that I've never noticed before. For instance, towards the end of the movie, after Maki and Naoko come out of the building, right after the vagabond dies or passes out. I don't even know. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. Does he die? Did he die? Did he have a heart attack? I don't know. I never understood that part. Matt, did the vagabond die?
I don't think so.
Like, I don't get what happened. He just passed out, right? Like, what?
You're talking about the dude that's stealing all the stuff from the
funny
hotel,
guy,
right? And he's singing and all that. I'm confused because I remember Godzilla scaring him and he falls over, but I don't know. I don't remember if Godzilla hits the building or anything like that. But I mean, I don't know. I want to assume he didn't, because that would be, be kind of sad.
so in Godzilla 1985, in the American cut, he does the whole thing, and he's going back off, and he kind of passes out. And then Godzilla, they use the frame when Godzilla first attacks the power plant, when he walks and basically tramples over the security guard. They use that again. So I'm like, okay, so he stomped him. But then in the Japanese version and in the new crack and release Blu-ray one, he doesn't do that. He doesn't walk forward. The dude just passes out. So I'm watching this the other day. I'm like, did he have a heart attack? Because he looked like he died. He started grabbing himself on the side. I don't know. I like the dude. I really do. He's one of my favorite characters for somebody who had less screen time than G14. I'm just saying. Just saying. He's one of my all-time favorite Godzilla characters, right? But anyhow, right after that scene, Maki and Naoko is running through the rubble, and it seems like Godzilla's stalking them, which is crazy. Dude, I never noticed in the 30-some-odd years I've been watching this movie, right? There is a dead body crushed by a piece of concrete right next to him, and I'm like, whoa, what? It was absolutely insane. It's the little things like that really it puts the movie over. It's like, yes, this is Godzilla. This is a giant monster. And what kills me is, like, you see those the people standing around when the Super X hits him with the cadmium and he's knocked out, and they're just there watching and taking pictures. It's so funny. It feels like if that was to happen, people would be doing it. We'd be with our cell phones, running around, trying to get footage of this gigantic creature laying in the building, and then all of a sudden he wakes up, and everybody runs and screams and flees. And yeah, I loved it. I love it. One of my favorite parts of that movie too, this week really hit home, when the Prime Minister has to make a decision and tell the Americans and the Russians that we're not going to use the nuclear weapons on Godzilla here. That we have a strict no nuclear weapon policy. And I loved, now I was talking to you about this, Matt, the other day. Well, I sent you a message and then I passed out and went to sleep. But the conversation in the room when it's just the Prime Minister and his cabinet members, right? Now, this is the first time since, well, Shin Godzilla was the first time since, I believe, 85 that they actually had, like, the government and what goes on behind closed doors. Every movie since then, it's little, it's minute, it doesn't play a major part for the movie. This this was an actual thing. Like, the cabinet members were arguing reasons why they need to let the U.S. do it or why they shouldn't let, the U.S. and Russia drop bombs. One dude is saying we're going to be, blacklisted in politics if we don't let this happen. But what I loved was all of a sudden one dude just raised his hand while everybody's arguing. And he said, "May I speak, please?" And I guess he was like a defense secretary, something like that. And he tells them that the use of nuclear weapons have, they basically are going to test this on us. We're going to be test subjects. And should we be test subjects? And that was it. I was like, man, that's such a good question. It's so deep. And then Godzilla wakes back up, and then it's a whole fucking thing, and I love it. And that's, pretty much why I said that. Because honestly, there's some tension in that scene, and then he comes back, and the Prime Minister has to tell the American and the Russian ambassadors, we're not going to let it go, and we're not going to let y'all do it, and I'll call your respected leaders myself, and I'll let them know. I loved it, man. I loved it. That 5-minute sequence, I think, was better than, and I don't want to, dump all over Shin Godzilla, but I honestly feel it was better than all the politicking in Shin Godzilla. That's just my thought. Go back and watch that scene again, Matt. You might be on the same page.
It's hard to change my mind about Shin Godzilla because I love that movie through and through. But 84, 85 is also probably tied for second favorite Godzilla movie ever. So there's a lot of things that Shin Godzilla does right that I think 85 might do just a tiny bit better.
Uh-huh.
I can concede to that. I'm not saying, one's a better movie than the other.
Right.
They're both really good. Doesn't have to always be a competition, right?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not. Trust me. This is not, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not going to turn into one of those podcasts. Look, like I said already, all my bias aside with Shin Godzilla, there's some really good shots in that movie. Look, to give credit to where credit is due, there is some really glorious shots in Shin Godzilla. Some of the best of the entire series. I will give that. I just don't like the movie. I just didn't like the direction. That was it. But my fingers are crossed to see what Toho does next. Because we're going to get Godzilla King of the Monsters next year. And then and then I guess Godzilla vs. Kong in 2020. So, all right, let me ask you this question, boys. Does Toho hold off till 2021? Chase, what do you think?
I say, well, see, I think it's going to be maybe 2 years, 2022, 2023, just because, I mean, unless they start making a Godzilla film right before Godzilla vs. Kong gets here, then I mean, it's possible to get it in 2021, but I if anything, I mean, 2022, 2023, that's when they said they wanted to start making films again, was after Legendary's run with the Godzilla movies was over. But see, the thing is what I'm a little bit confused with is because now with Toho a long time ago coming out saying that now they are partnering with Hollywood, I don't know, guys. I mean, I think, of course, this is just wishful thinking at this point, but I think if Godzilla vs. Kong does successful in both ends of Toho and Legendaries, I don't think it's going to stop there. I think it may be a while after Godzilla vs. Kong, maybe a few years down the road, we might see another Hollywood film, but I don't think it's going to stop at Godzilla vs. Kong at that point. But I do think it will be a few years, maybe 2 years for Toho until they put out a new film. Unless, like I said, unless they start right before Godzilla vs. Kong. I mean, like they kind of did with 2014 a little bit. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, because again, what of course, whatever is said, years down before it actually happens, it can always change, So We'll see. I mean, right now, depending how the anime does, I don't know. I don't know if Toho's totally going to put things on hold with how the anime's doing, but it wouldn't surprise me though. But I guess we'll just have to see. Toho tends to say a lot of things and then sometimes doesn't follow through. So we'll see.
Matt, same question. You think Toho's going to wait a couple of years after Godzilla vs. Kong?
It's really hard to say. I hope they don't, because I want Godzilla every single year, ever, for the rest of my entire life, and then some.
I ain't mad at you.
But I don't know. I think it just depends on what their plans are post-anime trilogy, what they're allowed to do with their deal with Legendary in the next couple of years. And I think it might honestly depend on the success of the two Legendary movies. Like, if those do really well, maybe they sign another deal with Toho and that they keep that series going. They bring other monsters in the mix because, it's Hollywood. They're going to milk that shit until it's bankrupt.
Making it puke.
Yeah. But I think it's too early to really say, to really have a good guess. I guess all I can say is I hope that we get more Godzilla, and immediately after. I hope we get a new series or a new era or a new incarnation of Godzilla. Separate from Shin Godzilla, separate from anything in the past. Let's do something new. Let's do something different. Let's just see where it goes. The good thing about Godzilla is you can just keep rebooting it. They have so many timelines now, such loose continuity that you can this Shin Godzilla didn't work for a lot of people. Oh, let's scrap it. Let's try something new, and you can just keep doing that over and over until you find a formula that really works. And I think a lot of fans really understand that and are okay with it. And I'm certainly okay with it, so.
Me too.
I say Toho takes more risks. Let's get really fucking weird with it. And that's about it without going into too long of a thing. But yeah, I want there to be more Godzilla. I hope there is. Just give me more every single year, forever, until the sun dissolves us.
And the only one standing is Godzilla. I love it. I'll be honest. I agree with both of y'all. I would like to see. First of all, if Toho taking risks, go for it. The Millennium series, if it taught me anything, is that everything is just open. Everything is open. There's 17 different timelines in that series alone. And that's an exaggeration, people. It's not 17. But you know what I mean. And then, Shin Godzilla is definitely a risk. That was a risk. As in terms of the look and like you said, people didn't like it. Let's move on. But don't stop taking those types of risks. It works for some. It doesn't work for others. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all still going to come back and watch them. We will. Just like Star Wars fanboys, you might not like The Last Jedi, but you're definitely going to go see Episode 9. Let's not fake the funk, right? That's how I feel with Godzilla. It's only as good as the next, for better or worse. It can only get better, or it can get worse, but just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And I'm going to tell you something. Not for nothing. One of my favorite movie companies right now is Blumhouse, right? It's not about them taking chances. It's about giving a director, I don't know, let's say $10 million. Here's $10 million. That's a lot of money for people who ain't got that money, right? But in filmmaking terms, it's chump change. Here's $10 million. Go make this Halloween movie, right? And I'm just using Halloween as an example because it's the latest. Halloween is just hit $200 million worldwide. So you just banked your investment retardedly, whether you like the movie or not. You banked that investment, right? You spent $10 million and you made $190 million off of that. Let's get it. They can do that with Godzilla. And Toho can do that with Godzilla. One of the things that I adore about Japanese cinema is that, like Matt said before, taking chances. They take chances. It doesn't matter if the CG doesn't look, hyper real. It just needs to get the point across. Now, I'm not talking about looking like straight trash. Bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
Straight trash. But there have been some really good looking stuff. I mean, look at Dragon Wars. Wasn't that a Korean production? Right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Dude, that looks okay. The wall. The wall. We spoke about this, Matt. The wall. Mm-hmm. Those creatures look good, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take $35 to $100 million, $50 to $100 million to make a good movie. Toho knows this. And I believe in that. I think they can go Blumhouse route. Take X amount of money, put it into a movie, and hopefully the success comes from it. What I worry about, though, is the international marketing releases. Like, we don't get those movies like that the way we used to back in the day. The Showa era was full. Every time a Showa movie came out, some other studio picked it up for the American rights and licensing, and they released it, right? But that didn't happen during the 90s. Godzilla 85 was the last one to do it. And then Millennium. And Millennium didn't even do it because I guess people were still kind of, had a sour taste from G98. And it's like, I don't know if we want to see Godzilla. And it's, unfortunate. I wasn't alive during the Showa era, so I couldn't even begin to tell you what the box offices was for that, whether they made money back or not. But I could say that it was different. It was a different time. People had fun going to the movies. That's all I want. I want to go to a Godzilla movie and have fun. Bring that.
Yeah, do that in May.
Well, that's why that's on Netflix. So, I could just put on Netflix and chill. And if I don't like it, I shut it off. I'll go to the next one. You know what I mean? I'm not at the theater, had to deal with that. Shin Godzilla. I'm not shitting on Shin Godzilla. I gotta stop that. I saw it twice in the theaters, people. Twice. Somebody didn't like.
I think the limited. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
The limited release is the way to go for the international market. I mean, yeah, it sucks that Shin Godzilla didn't come out anywhere but Japan and North America, but and it sucks that it only played in 2 theaters in all of Minnesota, and I can't speak for how many other theaters it played in other states, but, Ray, I know you didn't have a hard time going to see it. I know Chase didn't have a hard time. For you, only a 30, 40-minute drive. And when I went, and they're doing, showings for essentially 4 days or something. There was probably under 10 showings of that movie at one of the 2 theaters. And it was packed when I went. It was fucking packed. And it clearly was a very big success when it came here. And they got lucky by signing a deal with Funimation, who put money and effort into it to do sub well and to put it out in as many theaters as they could afford, and it made good money here. And I think the market for Godzilla International is definitely not dead, or Japanese Godzilla rather. So I would like to go see those movies in theaters if I can, and I will always support them however I can. But if it does come down to just Netflix or streaming or just straight to DVD and Blu-ray, I'm okay with that too. But I think the market is going to be there no matter what.
I love your limited release mindset. I think that is the way to go. I think that is absolutely the way to go. The way to go, especially if you do that Blumhouse thing where you just put, let's say, I don't know, $10 million into the movie. Go back to using the sets that you have in your studio. Just do it. I mean, I love these composite shots that they do in Godzilla movies, especially throughout the 90s. Like, those are some of my favorite shots. And it's cheaper to do now on a computer, so we can get this going. We can get it done. I absolutely love a limited release. Yeah, it wasn't hard for me to find Shin Godzilla. Literally, it's like a 5-minute drive from my house right now. In the theater it played at. So, and then like you have all of these things like Fathom events. They bringing back like Batman: Mask of the Phantasm for like 3 days. I'm gonna go see it. They did Transformers, the animated movie from 1986, about a month ago. I went to see that finally. Things like that. If you can get that, if you can get on board with things like that, then people can go see Godzilla. Yes, okay. Godzilla's coming out this Thursday. One time thing. Let's go. Because like Matt said, my theater was rather packed too for Shin Godzilla. Both times I went. And I like that. I love that. That right there shows that there's a community where I live that loves Godzilla, and I need to be a part of that. Go ahead, Chase. My bad.
Oh, no, it's all right. But I just wanted to add, I don't know if you guys remember, but a few months ago, I think like back in June, TOHO put out a thing that they're saying that they want to start figuring out a way to bring stuff from Japan over to the United States. And they were talking about basically like on the coast of the United States, like LA, stuff like that, LA, New York. They are going to like make specific stores that advertises like TOHO products. And they were going to start basically branching out all of their products internationally that way and into the States. So I hope if they get that green lit, like that would kind of help with acquiring Godzilla films in the future. But with that being said, I do like being able to watch it on Netflix. I do. I like being able to, after it makes its run in Japan, like the anime trilogy is doing, I do like in a few months being able to check it on Netflix. I like that method. So I mean, either way, I'm hoping once it comes down to it, I think TOHO will start. I mean, because TOHO has totally realized now that their international market's big. So I hope that it comes down to it where it doesn't become as harder to obtain these films. So
I think with the magic of the internet and how everybody has access to really anything right now at their fingertips, and how it's brought all these different fandoms together and created like one unified voice almost for Transformers or Godzilla or Star Wars or whatever, that the options are easier than ever to get the product to the people. Especially in foreign markets for a Japanese company like TOHO, it should be easier than ever to get Godzilla to Western fans or fans in England, like our friend Leonard, or
right.
People in Canada, or South Africa, or just literally anywhere in the world. It should be easier than ever.
No, I totally agree. And also, it doesn't even have to be just Godzilla. It could just be Japanese imports, period. Because that's such a big thing, anime, stuff like that. It's a big universal type thing. So,
yeah, well,
anything's possible.
They have like you figure you got like Crunchyroll and Funimation, those apps, and people around the world nowadays they're accessible. But I know, keep going, Matt, because I love where you're going with that.
Yeah, well, I think I was about to wrap up my thesis, but yeah, I think like you guys said, anime. It's a golden example of it's easier than. It's so easy for them now that they can put out the dub at the exact same time that it's airing in Japanese. So
yes.
there's no delay anymore with a lot of it. With Dragon Ball Z, there's no delay for getting Dragon Ball Z as we hear it, with the American actors and stuff, and it's crazy. And I think it should be easier than ever, basically. it shouldn't be so hard for them to, I don't think they necessarily need coastfront stores on the seaboard of America. I don't think they need that. It's just they need to brand themselves better. They need to make those deals with those international distribution companies like Funimation or Crunchyroll or Netflix or
that can also save them money too.
Yeah, really utilize the internet and how good of a marketing tool it is. And this shouldn't even be an issue. TOHO is a big company. Godzilla is a big brand. This
giant monster, biggest monster of the fucking planet.
Yeah. So, options are out there. And it's just a matter of tapping those resources.
Dear Toho, I know you're never going to hear this, but on the chance you do and have an interpreter and a translator, listen to what Matt, a.k.a. G95, just said, because that is the truth. Listen to what Chase, a.k.a. G73, said, because that is the truth. You can do this. You can do this. You don't need to open up stores on the coast where it's going to cost you X amount of money to stay open. It's ridiculous. What you need to do, Toho, now listen to me, G1. What you need to do, people, Toho, is you need to look at what DC is doing, what Marvel is doing, or let me rephrase that, Disney is doing. You need to come out with your own streaming service. Because Godzilla's not the only thing in your catalog, okay? You have your animation, you have your drama. Do something like that for the people. Drop a TOHO streaming app. You pay about $10 a month. I'm just saying. It's not far-fetched. Like, I'm basically jumping on what Matt was talking about, utilizing the internet. It's there. It is absolutely there. I had made this comment about a year or two, or maybe 2 years ago, and I stick to these guns. If TOHO is going to bring out new Godzilla content or kaiju content in general, things that they know there's a fan base around the world for, I am still of the opinion and belief that VOD the shit. If you're not going to put it out in the theaters limited, which I would love, I'd go and support that in the theaters. But if you're not going to do that, VOD it. Get on with Amazon. Honestly, Amazon is the perfect example, a perfect jump-off point. Amazon Prime, you get it, even if you don't have Prime, you can still rent the movie for whatever, $3.99, $4.99. You can rent the movie, watch it in the comfort of your own home. If you love the movie that much, you're going to buy it. You'll buy it, or you'll keep renting it. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to make that money. I'm still of that belief. VOD. If not, make an app. Make an app. Collect the monthly check from all of us kaiju fans out here in America, up in Canada, down in Mexico, across the pond in England, all over the world. Not just your base. Because like Chase said, you know now, this shit is bigger than just Japan. It's international. You created this monster, TOHO. We did. You did. Now give us what we want. Ladies and gentlemen,
Or else.
We're gonna cut it right there. Listen, guys, I thank y'all for being here with us today. That was a little love letter to you, TOHO, to you, Godzilla. 64 years old today or yesterday, however way you want to put it. I can't believe it. Yo, G73, thank you, my brother, for joining us.
As always, thank you guys.
And G95, as always, a pleasure.
Of course, thanks for having me.
And for all y'all out there in G-Show land, thank y'all for listening in. This is the Godzilla Block Party. I am G1. We'll see you next time. Peace.